Right, we are back. I said when I left that I hadn't made up my mind where I wanted to go, but I have. We're gonna go to the Telvanna Peninsula because that is the new with this DLC, and so it'll be completely new to me. So thank you so much for joining me.
This door leads to the Telvanni Peninsula in eastern Morrowind. The wizards of House Telvanni are known for secrecy and intrigue. But a shadow looms over all of them. A shadow filled with emerald eyes. Be cautious, adventurer.
Let's travel to the peninsula and start the Shadow over Morrowind storyline.
Why does a Telvanni do anything? Ambition, power, greed.
I've heard they formerly used the island to house the mentally unstable and magically insane.
Some, most likely fanciful sources, say the entire geography of this place is made from the ashes of the ancient Dunmer.
I've never turned away the families of the dead before, but if the rumors about illness are true...
To a Telvanni master such as myself, everyone is a spy and a threat.
In a place like this, you don't always need reason for betrayal.
Every secret and all knowledge finds its way to Apocrypha in time.
I see all that is, was, and will ever be.
In desperation, all things consume one another.
Do not doubt our resolve or mistake our isolation for weakness. House Telvanni stands alone, and remains so long after your alliances become deaths between the pages of history. In private correspondence to Mornold, Wayrest, and Elden Root.
Fate needs you, Proxy.
Right, we are officially in the game. Oh my gosh.
Fate has noticed your talent for altering destiny. Reality hangs in the balance, as does the future of Apocrypha and Nirn. Hence I bring a message from Hermaeus Mora, the one who knows. Mora offers you a purpose, an aspiration dark and heavy.
Purpose? What purpose?
We are bound together by a common danger. Enemies of Hermaeus Mora threaten his realm of oblivion, and in so doing pose a threat to the mortal world as well. Therefore Mora sent me to meet you here, and secure your cooperation.
Oh, what sort of cooperation?
Only a mortal Proxy can deal with a threat and save both Apocrypha and Nirn. The fates of both realms are linked, and you are the key to preserving reality. Without you, everything unravels. Help avert this disaster, and Mora will reward you.
Oh, alright, I'll help. Where do I start?
The one who knows instructed me to give you this. A condensate of planar potentialities. You will not understand. It is ink. Take it to the Redrith cistern, a ruin near the city. Pour the ink into the water, and your path will be made clear.
Tell me about Hermaeus Mora.
Have you never heard of the Daedric Prince of Forbidden Knowledge? The Lord of Fate? The riddle unsolvable? Hermaeus Mora knows everything. He is the wisest of the Daedra. Every secret and all knowledge finds its way to Apocrypha in time.
What's Apocrypha?
I am astonished how little the mortals of our tiny world comprehend. Apocrypha is the realm of Hermaeus Mora, his home and seat of power, one of the countless realms that drift through oblivion. Please, do not ask me about oblivion.
What do you know about these enemies to threaten Apocrypha?
They seem to be servants of other Daedric princes, rivals to the one who knows. The threads of fate that converge in this region should reveal more. That is the hope, at least.
And we are not dealing with just simple cultists. There are others.
What others?
Someone sent the Dusksaber Company to seize relics belonging to Hermaeus Mora from their hiding places in Tamriel. Elite vampire mercenaries commonly employed by Telvanni mages. I expected the cultists. The Dusksabers were an unwelcome surprise.
What were they looking for?
Glyphics. Think of them as crystallized memories. Condensations of notional... I explained too much. I managed to protect Mora's glyphics, with some help. But our adversaries once again move against us.
Well, goodbye. Right. Know where she wants us to go. Visitor's Guides to Telvanni Peninsula. Author's note, so someone you know has chosen to be interred in the necropolis of Necrom. At my advanced age, I have put to rest many kin, companions, and even beloved pets in Necrom, giving me plenty of opportunity to explore life beyond the city of the dead. If your grieving heart yearns for the simple salve of sightseeing and exploration, or better yet, experiencing seasides and sunshine, let me be your guide to the attractions and accommodations available from Necrom to Belfoyen and everything in between. Necrom? If you're a mourner, you're likely to become well acquainted with all of Necrom's twists, turns, dirges, and urns by the time you leave the city. I will only caution that you give the dead the right of way here, particularly near the wooden ramps on the city's staircases. These are primarily used by the keepers of the dead to move coffins. To disregard this warning is to risk being waylaid into a permanent stay. Gorn is an island under custody of House Indurel, allegedly a sanatorium for mages of House Telvanni, driven to madness by their own magic and experiments. At the time of this writing, I could not convince any ships to grant passage to Gorn for any reasonable price, which may be for the best. Approach at your own risk. The Egg Mine, this unassuming Quama mine, a short jaunt from south of Necrom, serves as an important source of food for the region. You've never seen a Quama farm, the workers may be persuaded to give you a tour, provided you ask nicely. The Holrag. Heading south from Necrom, the site appears to be the ruins of a once great tower overlooking the river. Now it serves as a convenient rest stop on your way down the Patamaic Crest. Fungal lowlands, this area on the opposite side of the river from Van Tel Horig, offer spacious tracts of wilderness for the explorers among us. Plenty of flat land for camping along the river, with a number of secluded clearings between the road and the coast. Talbara, a condensed estate built into the side of a mountain, rather than conforming to the traditional mushroom tower style. I recommend viewing this unusual architecture from the adjacent hillside, as its inhabitants at the time of this writing were hired guards who take less kindly to visitors than most. Melzi? Well, the approach to the only surviving entrance to these northwesternly ruins is staggeringly beautiful. Think twice before attempting to explore. Even the most affluential within House Telvanni are seldom granted a glimpse of the interior. No tours, accommodations, or beach access. Tel Rendis, the sprawling estate has been seemingly abandoned for decades by its former owner. Exploring the interiors at your own risk, but outside you'll find many pleasant places to picnic. Tel Doroth, an ash-marked estate of 2 handsome mushroom towers overlooking the coast. Ground staff and researchers remain aloof and far between, which means you can travel uninhabited down the hill between the 2 towers to find a fine private beach. No tours. Salin Mora? Heading south from Necrom, the site appears to be the ruins of a once great tower overlooking the river. Now it serves as a convenient rest stop on your way down the Salin Mora, well-kept crypts and shrine to Saint Vors, patron saint of House Telvanni. The talisman of Saint Vors is a relic kept on display. It can be closely examined only by house members of a certain rank, but viewing is open to the public. The old Salin Mori outpost has fallen in ruin in recent years, so I recommend seeking accommodations elsewhere. Ald Isra. If you're not inclined to travel down to the Pandemaic Crest, just outside Necrom, to the southeast, one can catch a Silt Strider to Ald Isra. This jewel of the western coast is home to the Mouths of the Talvani Magisters. These Mouths keep offices in the Tower of Talvara, which is open but not necessarily welcome to visitors. You receive similar treatment in the Tower of Talhul, which reportedly holds an assembly hall of some importance. However, the grounds outside are safe, well tended, and offer a pleasant sightseeing experience. If you must ask questions, ask them of a passing servant, and dress well, lest you be mistaken for one yourself. Amenorhun? Dear traveler, trust me when I say there is nothing for you here, which lies out of the way to the southwest of the region. Do not be fooled by its proximity to Balfoin to thinking that this is a place made for visitors. Do not be drawn in by its stately exterior, especially if you are not native to Morrowind. If you can, double back to the road and continue on the southern loop to Alvelis instead. You will not regret it. Alvelis is a charming village tucked away in the southern reaches. The hale and cheerful townsfolk are mostly workers in the nearby class mines, and the Green Glass Inn makes up for a perfect getaway spot for the more gloomy accommodations of Necrom. Highly recommend a visit, or if possible, an extended stay. And the fact is that you guys haven't seen the first episode, and I am recording a second episode. I have no idea if you guys want me to read those or not. I personally like it when someone reads the stuff and things, as long as it's pertinent. And then you have to trust me that it is pertinent, I guess. I don't know. A woman. Hi, a woman. If you're a woman and identical to... No, you're a real person. I'm not so sure about the a woman. I'm gonna drive you crazy with my collecting, 'cause I collect everything. Dice shards are listed. I'm gonna grab this way shrine just over here. I don't know, this way? Like such. I remember it is an MMO. I'm gonna talk to them. Why?
Where are all the workers? The overseer was supposed to meet me hours ago.
We'll come back to that. I was out of the way. I gotta make up my mind if I want to be first person or third person. I don't know. Nothing to see down here. So there's going to be things that I remember really well, and there's going to be things that I'm going to forget. I do have a mount. I probably won't use it.
You there! You look like a capable forager. I need some help. Can we talk?
Sure.
Thank the ancestors you stopped. Right. Well, I'm in a bit of a predicament here. I need to collect ingredients for a medicinal tincture, and I simply don't have time. I need someone to help.
A medicinal tincture, you say?
Ah, yes. I am Balva Bemis, retainer to Oathman Laro Rawlis of House Telvanni. Laro suffers from beastly headaches, and I'm making a tincture to address his malady. I need some hard-to-attain ingredients. If you aid me, I'll pay you well.
What are these ingredients?
I need the musk gland of a bull netch. I spotted some netch remains around Kemel Z. Also a plant called the volcanic stinkhorn from near Salem Mora. And lastly, fungal blooms from a dead shroom beetle. The best ones skitter around Tel Dreloth.
Alright, I'll get you those ingredients.
Once you collect the ingredients, I'll make the necessary preparations at my workstation in Ald Isra. You know, getting the viscosity right and all that.
Tell me about the Oathman Laura.
He's a very demanding individual, even at the best of times. Commands with an iron fist, you know. And when these headaches strike, he is positively tyrannical.
And this tincture will cure those headaches?
Yes, yes. I think it will address his malady fully. I mean, I hope so. He's terrible when he's like this.
Alright, goodbye. Rest. It's definitely an interesting looking map. I am a bit cute. Going over here.
I can't believe she just threw me out. What am I going to do? Please? I have no one else I can turn to. I need help. I worked as a servant in the towers of Tel Dreloth. Nathan, the son of Mistress Dreloth, is being kept prisoner there. At least, I think he must be.
Why do you think that?
Nathan and I had plans to leave Tel Dreloth together. Someone must have found out, because the day we planned to leave, I was dismissed from my position. Mistress Dreloth, or Sethiel, I suppose, pushed me out without a chance to see Nathan.
Where do you suppose Nathan is now?
She's holding him against his will. He'll be in the isolation tower. The only access is through the lab in the caverns that run underneath. There's a key in the top floor of the main tower. Please, can you help me? I'll pay for your assistance.
I'll help you get the key so we can rescue Nathan.
Thank the eight you came along. I had no idea how I would do this on my own. I know Cecile would just throw me out again, but Nathan is my whole world. I can't possibly leave Tel Dreloth without him. The first step is finding that key.
I have some questions.
Certainly. You know, it's been so long since I spoke to another outsider. I didn't think I'd miss it so much.
Why can't Nathan escape on his own?
I say this with love, but Nathan's not a fighter. He's lived a sheltered life, and Cecile is a very skilled mage. But he wouldn't fight his mother anyway. Until he met me, he seemed content with heeding Cecile's every word.
Why is she so focused on keeping the two of you from being together?
I wish I knew. If she were any other Telvanni master, I guess she didn't want her son settling for some low-born servant girl. But nothing like that ever seemed to matter to Cecile. She was far more focused on her research than her rank anyway.
What exactly is she researching?
From what I understand, she's trying to cure the Nahatan flu. It took the life of her husband many years ago, when Nathan was just a baby. I'm sure that's why she's so protective of her son, but it's no way to let him live.
And you think she's keeping him in some isolation tower?
I heard Cecile used to keep test subjects in the isolation tower. If she's keeping him anywhere, I imagine it has to be there. He spends most of his time on the balcony of the main tower, but he hasn't been out there at all since I left.
Oh, she's done. Do you think Cecile will let you and Nathan be together if you weren't planning to leave?
Would it matter? Nathan deserves to make his own choices, regardless of his mother's wishes. And if she really felt that way, why wouldn't she just make her feelings known instead of throwing me out? I wasn't trying to steal him from her.
How did you end up here?
I used to ask myself that question every day. It all happened so fast. I had a big family in Cropsford. We fled east from Cyrodiil when the Three Banners War began. By the time I made it here, I'd lost everyone. I was on my own.
And Cecile hired you on?
She gave me lodging and fair wages, too. She was kind to me, in her way. I used to think it was out of some goodness of her heart that she took me in. After she dismissed me, I was left wondering if she even has a heart.
What did she say when she dismissed you?
Very little, actually. It's not what she said, rather... While packing, I found a note in my belongings, signed by Nathan, full of hurtful things. Things I know he would never say to me.
You think Cecile wrote the note pretending to be Nathan?
I'm certain of it. I know Nathan's handwriting, and more than that, I know his heart. He'd never say such cruel things to me. And the fact that Cecile made up those lies hurts me even more.
Tell me about you and Nathan.
As in how we met? It's a bit of a silly story. I have a habit of whistling while I work. Songs from back home to keep my mind busy. One day, when I was working in the garden, I heard it. Chords of Chim El Adabal, coming from the balcony above me.
Nathan was playing it for you?
He'd never even heard it before. He learned it on the lute just from listening to me. He would play, and I began to sing again. It was like Nathan gave me my voice back. And I could think of home again in a way that felt like healing.
What happened after that?
Nathan started dropping notes for me in the garden. He folded them so beautifully to look like flowers. He'd make up excuses to send for me. We'd stay up all night talking or reading. It took a long time for either of us to admit our feelings.
Who admitted them first?
I did. I'd suggested that Cecile was being a little overprotective of him. We were almost arguing about it when I just admitted that I'd fallen in love with him. But I didn't know if I wanted to stay at Tel Dreloth forever like Cecile.
When did you decide to leave Tel Dreloth? When did you decide to leave together?
Only recently. That was Nathan's idea. After losing my family, I sought safety and found it in Tel Dreloth. But over time, we both realized life is too short, too precious to spend it stuck in just one place. We decided we wanted to see the world.
Alright, goodbye. Looks going to Redwith's cistern first. Lava pit. Oh, she's following me. So I guess we're doing lovesick first.
Thank the 8 you came along.
A mushroom. Quick inventory change. I just remembered I had a bunch of stuff. So she looks so pretty. No, at the bottom right. I also forget that's the one big problem about items from about MMOs. They pop so many things up. If it wasn't for her following me, I wouldn't have done this quest next, but she's trailing behind. Guess we'll go do it. The giant mushrooms.
There's the main tower, and you can see the isolation tower to the north there. They're not like the towers back home, but they're beautiful in their own way.
If you say so. While House Telvanni is powerful in the Vardfall region, their isolationist nature has encouraged many of the members to establish households in more remote areas, away from other houses. Much of their power is centered in Vardfall and the eastern reaches of Morrowind. As a result, the peninsula that bears their name is dotted with small estates, usually under the control of a senior member of the house, who in turn is usually a powerful spellcaster. So they had slaves. Didn't want to get rid of the slaves. Thus, I didn't join anybody. They did their own thing. Tory key. Okay. I do look forward, between you and me, dyeing this outfit. On first. What's going on? Okay, so there's ranks, there's slaves, there's hirelings, retainers, oathmen, lawmen, spellwright, mouth, oathman, lawman, lawmen's, spellwrights, mouth, wizards, masters, hortors, magisters, and archmagistry. Slaves are considered property. Hirelings are the lowest of the recognized ranks. Retainers are hirelings who have earned official acceptance in the household of their employer. Oathman is a term applied to all genders. They make up the bulk of any Telvanni household. The lawman, the spellwright, and the mouth are all specialized forms of the oathman. They consider themselves ordinary. Lawmen, of course, are guards, wardens. Spellwrights are middling powered mages. The mouth holds greater responsibilities as well as an elevated status. They serve more powerful mages. They are called mouth because they can speak with their master's voice and keep the wheels of bureaucracy turning. Wizards, first rank of true power in any house. Masters consist of noble mages of great power. Hortators are rare and unusual and usually singular in nature. They can be found in all the dark houses and are the highest non-magical rank. Magisters are the most powerful of the mages, earning the master's rank. And art magisters is the official leader of the House Telvanni. Progress between the ranks is possible through effort. A limited number of available positions results in great competition for promotion, and often lower-ranking Telvanni may conspire to remove their superiors. I love that she's standing on the bed. Right. What are you wanting me to back to? Oh, maybe around the corner. These are some really funky places to live. I wonder how it would smell. Because, like, you know, mushrooms have a particular odor. Can I take those? No. And would it feel slimy to sit in those chairs? Breaking the cycle of tyranny. The brash young kingdoms of the Covenant want to re-establish the Empire of Men. They are too callow and immature to realize that the Empire was a failed experiment whose time has passed. Now is a time of crises for all of Nim, and Tamriel can't... Now is a time of crises for all of Nim, and Tamriel cannot afford to have these unlearned barbarians destabilizing Cyrodiil and jeopardizing our efforts to stave off world-destroying doom. The Ebonheart Pact will not allow the Daggerfall Covenant to establish another bloody-handed dynasty of imperial tyrants. Time and again, throughout history, armies of men have marched in from the rim of Tamriel to conquer its center, enjoying a brief moment of power before sliding into an inevitable discord and decay. It's time to break this destructive cycle once and for all. We need to defeat the armies of the Covenant, depose their kings, and bring their chastened successors into a new Tamriel Pact, where wiser heads shall prevail. Good luck with that.
The key is in that chest. It's a spare for when the researchers misplace theirs.
I will get it last, 'cause I know this game. has a way of once you do something, commit to it. Ancestors and the Dunmar abridged.
Got it? Let's speak for a moment. All right, we have the key. This is going better than I thought it would. And it's strange. Everything looks so different in here without the wards. It all feels so empty.
Wards? What wards?
Nathan's protective wards. You know, Sathiel's magic barriers that kept Nathan's half of the tower in isolation. I couldn't cross them at all. They certainly made tidying up a bit of a trial. I mentioned the wards before, didn't I?
You did not.
Sorry. I guess I've been here so long it's become normal to me. Sathiel said the outside world would kill Nathan, and she was working on a cure. But as far as I know, she and her husband were trying to cure the Nahatan flu.
Her husband?
He died years ago, when Nathan was just a baby, from the disease they were trying to cure. Sathiel must be sheltering Nathan for fear of losing him, too. She's doing it out of love. That I can understand. But that doesn't make it right.
Now that we have the key, how do we get to Nathan?
We'll take the portal pad to the cellar. Then the key will get us into the labs. From there, it's just making our way through the caverns to the isolation tower. As long as we don't cross Sathiel, the others will be too busy to stop us.
And what happens if we run into Sahil?
Good question. I've never known her to be particularly combative, but if Nathan's wards were any indication, she does wield very powerful magic. Which she may use to escort us out.
What about the researchers? Will they try to stop us?
Nathan's well-being is a family affair, and the researchers are far more focused on their work. They're tasked with observing their subjects for the slightest changes, so they won't keep their eyes on us for long, anyway.
Subjects.
Test subjects for her experiments. Animals, as far as I know. Some of the experiments are rather grisly. I kept away from the lab for that exact reason. I've heard some of these Telvanni use slaves for such things, but Sathiel's not like that.
Has Mistress Drelroth tested any of these cures on Nathan?
No, and that's exactly what worries me. She's tested no cures on him because there's nothing to cure. He's not sick. She just wants control. Poor Nathan. His mother loves him, but it's almost like she's the one with the sickness.
Bye.
I don't think I've ever seen it this empty down here. Where is everyone?
Mushrooms on top of mushrooms. They're growing mushrooms.
Wait. What are these subjects doing out of containment?
Apparently that does nothing, and it's just a booby trap, and I need to stay away from it.
Why are they like this? What has Cecile done to them?
I'm not seeing whatever you're seeing. Oh. Oh, I see. Someone else has come through and killed them. I sort of forgot for a minute that this is a multiplayer.
There. Are those research notes? Look around. Maybe there's something here that explains what happened.
I remind myself when doubt creeps like vermin into my mind. I was right. I am right. His death was not for nothing. My work will bear fruit soon. We are close to a breakthrough. We must be. Delman spore sample number 1105. More rapid breakdown on living matter than I ever seen to date. Hostility of the spores increases with the subject's acute emotional distress. I estimate double the rapidity of necrosis since the battle acute emotional attachment noted starting with sample number 902. My words may not hold if something provokes a stronger response. Precautions. Super isolated quarantine and twice daily ward refreshed until subject returns to emotional equilibrium. Based on the attachment and distress response in question, this may take quite some time and will cause quite the drain on my magic and energy. We'll need to shrink size of wards for smaller confinement area. We'll consider use of tranquilizing agents if contagion is breached or situation is deemed too dangerous. Test subjects acquired in cage, ready for testing, which brings me to my next point. Here, synthesis series number 6905 to 699. So there's been 7,000. Blocked until there are 7,000 issues. Blocked until I can find more reliable help. Regret dismissing Desea, the house servant girl, but the situation is far too dangerous already. Where am I supposed to coax dependable help from? Slaves do not meet my needs and ask far too many questions. I've heard even Federo has had trouble keeping on mercenaries these days. But I don't need a mercenary. I don't even need more lab assistants. I need another me, and I work on that problem. But I've had my hands full with this one for the last 20-odd years. Christ. Nathan, I am leaving Tel Draloth. I have come in some wealth due to a death of a distant relative, and have no need to work as a servant anymore. Mistress says I should not tell you where I intend to go, but first because she always write about your condition, and leaving your wards will surely kill you. Second, because I mean to live out the rest of my days in peace and luxury, married to some rich stranger. It is what I deserve, after all I have been through, and how hard I've worked in service of your mother. While I cannot say that I ever truly loved you, I do not wish you dead. Do not come after me. Do as your mother says. She knows best. Oh.
What's that? It looks like a letter.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
What did you find? Anything that explains what's happened?
I found the research notes. I also found a letter. Did you write this?
Let me see. No, I'd never write such a thing. Did Cecile write this? Did she really think this sounds like me? What did the research notes say?
Testing some sort of cure, and has notes on some toxic spore interfering with her wards.
Spores? The researchers spoke of those. Little seeds on the air, invisible to the eye like flu or fever. I think that's how molds and mushrooms make more of themselves. Delman spore sample. Delman? What is that? It sounds like a name.
You don't know what it means?
It sounds familiar. I just can't place where I've heard it before. She mentions these toxic spores interfering with wards. Does that mean Nathan's wards? If these spores reach the isolation tower, he could be in danger.
Let's keep moving and see if we can find Nathan. I think there's more to the story than she knows. But that is the way of these games.
No. The observation outpost. What happened? Where is everyone?
Take this gun.
Junshei? Thank the 8 you're all right.
Daisha, stranger, you shouldn't be here. Too dangerous. Go no further.
What happened? Are you doing all right?
Spores nearly killed me. Barely exposed. Natural immunity. I will live. Heard shouting, then screaming. Everyone came running. Big mistake. Subject spores. Too strong. Wanted to escape.
What happened? Where's the subject now?
Mistress Dreloth. She coaxed him back to isolation. Delman, too strong. Stronger than I've ever seen.
Who or what is Delman?
Delman. Mistress Dreloth's greatest experiment. The cure. The affliction. Delman did this. Trouble breathing. Barely survived. The other researchers, not so lucky. Too late for them. Go no further. You could be killed.
Well, be careful. You should rest now. Glitching paper through the floor. I'm just gonna take these apples that have been surrounded by spores. I'm sure it's fine. Oh.
glad Tunche is all right. But he's just given us more questions than answers. I know he's one of her most trusted assistants, but if this Delman is one of Sathil's experiments, how does Tunche not blame her for what happened here?
We still don't understand exactly who or what Delman is.
I know, but... fetch it all! I just wish I could remember where I've heard it before. Delman. Delman.
Is it possible Nathan said something about it?
No, that's just the trouble. If Nathan had said or written it, I'd probably remember it exactly. Delman. Delman. It's on the tip of my tongue. Where did Tunche say Sathil took the subject again?
He said she coaxed him back to isolation.
That must mean the isolation tower, where Nathan is. Let's keep going. I don't know what we're going to do, but Sathil needs to be stopped.
I'm ready. Let's keep moving.
Wait. Do you feel that? It's like we're being watched.
Big
I've
creep.
tolerated this incursion long enough. Whoever you are, you've fallen for Dacia's fanciful tale. And now you're enabling her dangerous obsession with my son. Nathan made his feelings for Dacia perfectly clear in the letter he wrote. Or was that vital piece of information kept from you?
The only letter I've seen is the one from Dacia saying she didn't love Nathan. Did you write that?
So what if I did? They both do well to believe it. They can never be together, do you hear me? Never! Leave this place! Forget all that you've seen, or you'll end up worse than Tunche.
What did you do to Nathan? Does it have something to do with Delman?
Delman? Where did you hear this name, Delman?
We found your research notes. Tunche said Delman was responsible for what happened in the lab.
Ah, I see. So your half-informed mind proves far more dangerous than an uninformed one. You cannot help. Leave this place or I will do everything in my remaining power to stop you.
We're not leaving until we find Nathan.
Her husband. That's right. I must have heard it from her once, long ago when she first brought me on. He died from the Nahatan flu. The thing she's trying to cure. I've never seen her like this before.
If Delvin has been dead for so long, how could he be responsible for what happened in the lab?
I don't know. Has she gone mad? Was she always this way? If so, she's been hiding it. I can't blame her. If she were carted off to Gorn, she'd be parted from Nathan. The thought of it probably only made things worse for her.
Are you sure you want to keep going?
If you mean to heed Sathil's words and leave, then I'll have to go on alone. Nathan is my whole world. I'm not leaving without him.
I'm with you. Let's keep going and find Nathan. Hear me. That very nice stranger came and helped us. So nice of him. Oh, apparently there's a...
You cannot fight the danger that lies ahead. This is your last chance.
Gonna go through that door.
turn back, or you may never leave this tower again.
Rushing on down here. Nothing to worry about.
Dacia, stay back! I tried to escape, but she was right. My mother was right about everything.
Nathan, what are you talking about? We're here to rescue you.
Stay back from the ward. Mother says it's already in a weakened state due to the strength of my affliction. I don't recognize you, stranger. What are you doing with Dacia?
They hired me to come rescue you.
Rescue? Then she really does love me? There was this note, you see. I was certain it was fake, but then I saw you and, well, I started to wonder. But I cannot leave. If you came through the caverns, you must have seen what I'm capable of.
That was you? Tenshi said that Delman was responsible for what happened.
My father, yes. The affliction my mother gave me. She named it after him. I didn't know until I tried escaping. The wards were never for my protection. They kept others safe from me. If I had left with Dacia when we planned, she'd be dead.
What did Sathil afflict you with?
A living cure. A symbiote that protects its host with toxic spores. I would not be alive without it, and it would not thrive without me. All these years, she really has been trying to cure me so I might live a normal life. Why did I ever doubt her?
Where is your mother now?
So now you know the truth. I'd kept this secret from Nathan his whole life. That he might not grow up knowing he was a monster of my own making. That he might keep his will to live while I sought a cure. After all, I gave him the Nahatan flu and cured him of that too.
You infected your own son, the Nahatan flu.
Delman and I were trying to save the world. A promising fungal spore sample was on its way from Black Marsh when Delman caught the very thing we were trying to cure. And I lost him. I had to know if the spores would have saved him. And now I know.
Why don't the spores affect you?
Nathan came from me. I am enough of him that the fungal symbiote does not register me as a separate entity, and therefore not a threat to its host. That is when I named it. Delman Mycota. The cure, like love, that would be with us always.
Could you have told, Dacia the truth about Nathan's condition?
The truth is a poor cure for love. I did not want Dacia to share my fate of being shackled to Tel Dreloff by her own heartstrings. So I tried to drive her away. But since hers is a love that clearly cannot be cured, I have devised a choice for her.
What choice?
If Dacia is willing, I can safely inoculate her with the same spores I used on Nathan. She will share his affliction and his confinement. But they will be together, and she will want for nothing, except perhaps her freedom.
And what if she doesn't want that?
Then she can make herself useful and help me find a cure. I'll hire her on again. I need someone dependable to procure rare ingredients to keep testing possible cures for Delman Mycota. Perhaps someday she can be one of my researchers.
Are you confident you can even find a cure for Nathan?
I've been studying Delman Mycota for over 20 years. If anyone can find a cure, it's me. I'm not about to abandon my life's most important work. There has to be something that can eradicate the fungus once it's disposed of the Nahatan flu.
If Dacia chooses to be inoculated, are you going to carry out experiments on her?
What does it matter if she and Nathan are able to live out their days together? I'd only prioritize curing her. But I am a researcher. I am not above recognizing the benefit of additional subjects with which to compare results.
All your researchers are dead, except one. Is anyone going to hold you accountable for that?
My researchers signed on with me because of my area of study. They knew the dangers of Delman Mycota as well as its potential. All that space in the labs was necessary for safe experimentation. I regret their loss, but they knew the risks.
It seems like their deaths could have been avoided if you told Nathan or Desea the truth.
Or if I had time to think of a more believable lie to tell the both of them. I knew they had been meeting for quite some time. When I overheard their plans to run away together, I had to act quickly, or else risk Dacia's certain death.
You knew how they felt about each other.
Of course I did. I was glad for it at first. Dacia brought Nathan happiness. If only they could have remained content being in love, with the wards up between them. It was only when they doubted me that things got dangerous. And now, here we are.
Nathan and I could finally be together. But the way to do so means becoming his mother's experiment. But I'd be safe, provided for. I'd get to dance and sing every day with the one I love. Some would kill for such a gentle life.
You could consider her other option, or you could just leave.
Leaving for good is no option for me. My heart is Nathan's and his is mine. If I don't give up my freedom, I can help Cecile find a cure. I'd get to see the world like I always wanted, but I'd be in her service. And I'd be alone.
You'd really give up your freedom? There's no guarantee you'll find a cure.
Life offers no guarantee of love either. But I found that, didn't I? I don't see it as giving up my freedom. I see it as a choice of how I get to show my love. But my heart is split. If you were in my place, which would you choose?
I would want to keep my freedom and try to find a cure.
I made it this far. I can work and wander a bit longer to have Nathan by my side for good someday. Cecile and I are going to find that cure. Thank you for helping me see the best path forward, stranger. Here's your reward.
Dacia, I love you. I'm glad you're going to see the world.
Nathan, until you can see it with me, my road will always lead back to Tel Dreloff.
Hey. Alright, I will see you guys on the next episode. We'll continue on exploring the place. Thank you for keeping me company.